welcome back to the Stockwell Eldritch Show. I'm Jason Stockwell with Remax Results.
And I'm Dawn Eldridge with Remax Results.
We have Stephanie Havel in studio with us with Wells Fargo.
Hey, good morning.
And we have Don Doty here with Home Place Inspection.
Good morning.
Don the Catman.
Yeah.
Catman do. Catman Don.
And we have Chad, the owner of New Age Technology. If you're just tuning in, we went over some stuff in the first segment about the difference between your assessed value and your market value and how you can prepare yourself for going on the market if you are a seller or a buyer next year in the spring or right now. And then in the second segment, or just recently, we talked with Chad about his business and the latest and greatest technology that's going on in older homes. So don't discount your home if it is an older home. And I mean older as in 60s. It doesn't really matter, Chad, correct?
It doesn't.
Could be as old as you want. You can update that home with the latest and greatest technology and make it a smart home as long as you have a smartphone.
And a smart operator of those devices.
That was close to rhyming, Stephanie. I don't know. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I like it. It was good.
And then Don Doty here is talking about his own personal smart home and how when he's, I let Don talk about when you're in Mexico, you said you like to check on your extended family, if you will.
Yeah. I have a house in Mexico, and then whenever I can get away for 3-4 days, I go down there. But I miss my cats. I know, cats. And but I also can check on the weather. I can see how much snow, and if I have to call the plow guy or something like that. But it's look, I am not Mr. Technology. I had to get a company to come in the other day to hook up my Netflix because I didn't know how to do it. Mm-hmm. So I mean, I'm about the last.
I don't even have Netflix, so you're ahead of me, Don.
Yeah, but anyway, and then I also had them program my remote, so I only have one remote.
Oh, that's
not
nice.
3, one.
It's a beautiful thing, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, it's fabulous. And, you don't have to be, Mr. Technology to figure this stuff out. It's just point and click. So I'm down in Mexico on the beach, and I missed my cats, so I have 7 cameras in my house, and I can make sure that they're all, doing well, and I know.
Do you have a sound, like, can they hear you? Can you say, hey, Catman, 1, 2, 3?
No sound. No sound.
You're not alone. I tell you, I had a friend of mine went to Hawaii, and she would call and leave a voicemail. She had an answering machine, so she could talk in the answering machine, so she could leave messages for her cats while she was gone.
Hey.
They want to hear us. So my question, though, like Chad was, what about, you hear people that have the dish TV, and it rains and it snows, and there goes the dish, and there goes all the TV. Like, what if, I've dropped my phone, now it's cracked, or the battery went dead. Now I can't access anything, or it rains and there goes the cameras, and now my furnace doesn't work and my air conditioner work because it's all connected. And so, can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. You just got to think about it as a cloud-based program. So anything that's put on your phone is actually put on the cloud. So nothing will ever get erased. If your phone gets dropped in a puddle, you get a new one, you just sign right back in. So those problems don't arise.
And are they all connected together, though? I mean, so you talk about it being on the app, though. If something were to go out with, like, say my furnace were to go out, does that affect everything else or not?
No, not at all. I mean, your thermostat could go offline. It doesn't mean that your lights are going to stop going up and down.
Okay.
So, no, very independent from each other.
Like if I ring the doorbell, the dishwasher's not going to start going, and then I go open up my garage and the toilet flushes. And
Well, that might happen to you. But
no, have you ever seen those? I don't know what I was thinking from some movie or
That was
something.
Laura and Hardy.
Was that, you push something's miswired or whatever, the DIY people. So actually, that is kind of a question, though. Is it something that could be a little bit of a DIY, like do it yourself? Like if I went onto your website and I bought some of these, like I think you said a lot of these devices or things have the things already built into them. Mm-hmm. So is it something that I could set up myself if I wanted?
You could. I mean,
obviously it's not good for your company, but just curious, like if you came in and did a few things for me and I was, high-tech savvy, is it something that I could continue to add on to myself? If maybe you came and laid the foundation, but now I want to hook up my lights and I want more cameras and all that kind of stuff. Is that something I could do?
Probably potentially, but I'm not technically savvy.
Well, you know,
or
some of these
electrical.
millennials, my God, they can do like the people that came and hooked up your Netflix, Don, right? I
They
mean,
might be able to, yeah. So if you can, you can on your own. I would say in today's mobile economy, and in like Don said, if you travel,
Oh,
this is something that's key because the furnace is a big thing. I didn't have
pipes.
Yes, I didn't have they weren't my clients at the time, but they had their home for sale and they had already moved out to Massachusetts. And this is a couple years ago, probably 3-4 years ago now, but they were gone and their furnace was fairly new. It had to be no more than 6-month-old furnace that was a high efficiency furnace, and some little computer component inside shorted out in February when we had a cold spell where those 2-week periods where it doesn't get above zero. We had one of those at that time, and their house completely froze. 26 pipe bursts in the whole house. Had they had something like that, I don't know if it affects furnaces or not, but they could have maybe gotten some information on there through smart technology, correct, on that?
Yeah, I mean, definitely they would have had a low temp sensor
Yeah.
through your
If you're
security system. And
So if you travel, if you're a traveler, if you go on vacations, it's something that's very good. If you have kids, I think it'd be really good for this stuff for safety purposes. So I think it's something that we're going to see more and more of, and there already is demand. There's going to be more and more demand for it. To be able to do stuff with your home like
Well,
that.
and my question to you then, Don, is so you do how many home inspections do you do a week approximately?
about 7 a day.
7 a day? Wow. When do you have time to go to Mexico? Holy cow. 7 a day. I was thinking like 1 a day. But so what
Yeah.
are some things that you're seeing, so in regards to getting this stuff, when you're doing all your home inspections, obviously, is there certain things that you're seeing or maybe tips you could give us that would say, hey, these are some things you got to get fixed, or hey, I know about this company that could put in sensors for these type of items because you're seeing a lot of this in these houses breaking or falling apart, or had they, like Jason just mentioned, had they had a sensor, all this stuff that they have right now could be avoided.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually kind of mind-boggling how all this works, but it's quite simple. I mean, it's all through, like he says, an app. So you got a heating app, a sensor if your house gets below, say, 60, or a water app if your floor gets wet, sump pump. It just goes on and on. Now, do I see it on a daily basis? No. People typically don't have, high-tech stuff.
I guess my question was, what are some things that maybe that you're seeing where it really would be beneficial for them to get an app for that? Like, are you seeing a lot of furnaces or pipes bursting or roofs leaking or things like that?
Absolutely. See it all. Yep.
So Don, we want to talk to you about this and ask you. You're thinking of potentially selling your home next spring. If you're listening, you're thinking of that, or you know someone who is, family, friend, loved one, coworker. If you're thinking of selling your home next year, what should you be doing, or some things you should be doing here in the winter that would be helpful for a homeowner to make sure their home is ready? We talked about one of them, which is have you come in and do an inspection, which I think would be great, so you can fix some things ahead of time and have time to do it instead of trying to negotiate it with a buyer, which isn't always fun.
Yeah, it's always nice to be ahead of the game. So if you have an older furnace, older meaning, say, 18 years and older, you should definitely get a CO test, carbon monoxide test, by a licensed heating contractor. So when you go to list the property in January, February, or March, have all that sitting right on the kitchen table. Have my inspection report, 20-page inspection report. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of things that are going to be marginal, but you can yellow highlight them and you can simply say it was fixed and then put a date on it.
Yep.
Because the more disclosure you can provide, the warm and fuzzy feeling the buyer will have, and that's what this is about. It's about people. So
Yep, and that's one of the best tips for you as a seller. You can show that, yes, buyers will understand homes have issues sometimes, but if you show that you took care of it, and in other words, took care in your home and actually addressed the issue, and by laying it all on the table, it's kind of a figure of speech, but you lay it all on the table, and then it's there for them to view, and it shows that you were proactive instead of not doing anything. We go into so many houses and you don't know. You see a mark on the wall as an agent with a buyer, and you're like, what's that from and what's that for? And it starts to put question marks in the buyer's head about what else could be in the home, when it could be something so simple as, yeah, we had the toilet overflowed upstairs 10 years ago and it left a water stain there.
Right.
We just never painted over the water stain. I mean, there's so many little things that I see that make buyers cringe, and it affects truly maybe the offers you're getting or the price that you're getting for the home, and definitely affects the negotiations during the inspection period. And it may blow a sale sometimes, some of the things. It depends, but
When we come back from the break, will we have a little time?
yes,
I'm going to tell you some things you shouldn't do.
some things
get
you
a house
shouldn't do. We
ready.
like those. Things you should not do. We'll be back with more Jason Stockwell Remax results.
Don Eldridge, Remax results.
Stay tuned, folks. Thanks for listening.
To go now.